Carl has caught up with Jesse Jackson. John.
I'm here with Reverend Jackson. As you mentioned, Reverend Jackson, you have spoken at 6 of these conventions. What's this one like?
Well, it's to be in North Carolina and South Carolina, what a great break. This is the New South, made possible by the Voting Rights Act. When the walls came down, bridges were built. It connected Mason and Dixon. You could never have Carolina Panthers and the Bobcats behind the cotton curtain. You couldn't have had the Olympics in Atlanta behind that cotton curtain. You couldn't have had Honda and Toyota and Boeing and Airbus. But this civil rights movement has been successful here, and the right to vote is the key to it and must be protected at all costs.
But what about President Obama? Is he going to be able to recapture that same magic? I mean, it's like he has said, that was lightning in a bottle 4 years ago. There's a lot of disappointment out there. There's a lot of people going through tough times. How does he do it?
Well, that was a crusade, and now he is governing. But look at what he has to govern with. He came in with 4 million jobs lost. Now 4 million gained. That's a spread of 8 million jobs, for example. The automotive industry was going. Even we thought Germans and Japanese made superior cars. We know better now. We're #1 again, working 3 shifts in Ohio. There are people covered with health insurance who were not covered before. That's a plus. 100,000 troops out of Iraq. That's a big deal. We spent $1 to $3 trillion on that war, the wrong war, and so he has a track record. And I think that track record of substance will sustain him through the season.
But you heard the president himself when he was asked to give himself a grade on his handling of the economy, and he said incomplete. I mean, how do you go to voters and say, I've had 3.5 years, but my grade is incomplete?
Well, he's been modest. You have to deal with what he has done, the opposition he has had, the name calling, the toxic attacks on this person. You're not an American. You're not a Christian. You're not one of us. And look at the alternative. There is no alternative program for economic reconstruction or in the commitment to address poverty. I think that when he is toe-to-toe with his opposition, one will be able to make a contrast that will give him the edge.
Hey, I want to ask you an entirely different question as somebody who's been to so many of these conventions and played a big role in so many of them. Are they still relevant? You hear a lot of people saying, it's become one big kind of infomercial. What's your sense? Why do these things still matter, or do you think they do?
It connects people from around the country. They're not as contentious as they once were. You will not be here at midnight negotiating between various groups trying to figure who the candidates will be. But the purpose of coming together, sharing issues, whether you're in California or Alabama or Vermont or Mississippi, there are certain common interests you have. People you get to know. I mean, Medicare, Medicaid, public education, peace, these issues bind us. I think the convention serves a useful purpose, and it must continue.
Hey, how's Jesse Jr. doing?
He is doing better. He is slowly regaining, but he must prioritize his health and let nothing become before his health. We love him so much. We're so caught off guard by what happened to him. He's recovering, and we want him to take his time.
Have you been out to see him?
Well, several times, once a week at least.
Once a week, and what's your sense? When do we see him back in the arena?
I just don't know. I don't want to hazard a guess. I mean, I'm fathering this, not medical advisor. I think his doctors and families at some point in time, he must make that decision as to whether he can continue to serve. But his physical, emotional strength must take priority.
All right.
I want to thank some of them who prayed for him. Pastor Kendrick came to visit him, and Dennis Consensus and friends came to visit him. And I thank them for their help and support. And much love is shown for him here. It makes our family feel very good.
All right. Well, my best to him, and please give him back. Thank you for joining us down here.
Thank you, sir.
There's from who's been to a few of these. Are you with me, Rick?
All right. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, John Carl.